Hi, welcome to the lesson on H8-4. Today we're going to be introducing imaginary numbers. In the past, you have not been able to solve some quadratic equations like x squared plus 4 equals 0 and x squared plus 1 equals 0 because there are no real numbers you can square to get a negative answer. To solve this issue, mathematicians created a new expanded number system based on one new number. Okay, and this is not the first time that mathematicians invented new numbers. If you paid attention to the video that I posted in Schoology on Thursday, it went through the history of some imaginary numbers and just some of the number systems. Other numbers that were created were numbers like zero, right? They didn't always have a zero. They didn't always have negative numbers. Okay, so these numbers were, I don't want to say invented, but they were created there to explain different concepts in mathematics. Okay, today we're going to talk about imaginary numbers and how you can use them to solve equations that you were previously unable to solve. We always said that there were no solutions or no real number solutions, but now you're going to learn how to solve those kinds of equations. So 8-63 says, consider the equation x squared equals 2. Letter A, how do you undo squaring a number? So if we were trying to solve this, we know that we would end up taking the square root of each side. Okay. Letter B says, when you solve x squared equals 2, how many solutions should you get? Well, let's go ahead here and start looking at if you were to solve it, right? Remember, this is x squared, so it's quadratic, and you think about quadratics, when you think about their graphs, right? If it's not the vertex of the parabola, then it usually will have two solutions, right? So we should have two solutions. It says, how many x-intercepts does the graph y equals x squared minus 2 have? Well, hopefully you see the relationship between these two equations. Okay, right? This is a function on part C, but we just moved the 2 across with the x. So remember, roots, right, and solutions and x-intercepts are all the same thing. So it should have two x-intercepts. Solve the equation x squared equals 2 and it says write your solutions both as radicals and as decimal approximations. All right, so let's start out solving x squared equals 2. First thing we're going to do is we're going to undo our square by taking the square root on each side. That's what we set up here on A. And we know when we take the square root of something squared, we're going to end up with the absolute value. And that should be equal to the square root of 2. And then when we take that x out of the absolute values, it tells us that whatever we have on the other side should be positive or negative. So we get x equals positive or negative 2. So that is our answer as a radical. Now let's look at our answer as a decimal approximation. Let's do the square root of 2. Let's go second square root of 2. And we get 1.4142. It says rounded to 4 decimal places. So we'll say x is approximately 1.4142. And x also, it would be approximately negative 1.4142. Or you could write plus or minus in front, either way.